Hi, my name is Sebastian Nicretti. Eric, can you take a moment to introduce yourself?
My name is Eric Durst, and I'm the Chief Technology Advisor. What that really means is that I work with all the portfolio companies at Align Capital from the time that we acquire them. I frequently participate in the IT due diligence side of things, both when they're coming into the Align Capital as well as when we're doing add-on acquisitions.
What were the key criteria you considered when selecting TechMD as the IT services provider for Align Capital's portcos?
I had run into TechMD through another company that actually had nothing to do with Align Capital, and the CIO recommended them to me, and I decided to try them out at one of the portfolio companies that was rapidly growing, and they were really looking for customer service first and foremost. So they really wanted somebody who was responsive and met their needs and did it in a quick and efficient manner. But they also wanted somebody that had a breadth of offerings. So they had to not only have the standard MSP offerings, help desk, PC deployment, server support, networking, firewall, all that kind of basic stuff. But they also wanted some of the cybersecurity
Hmm.
things. So more the MSSP type services. So I wanted one that had both. I wanted somebody who could scale with our different size portcos, because we have some that are relatively small, maybe around 20 million in revenue. And then we have others that are much, much bigger, might be 140 million. I think the biggest we ever had was 290.
What are the most common IT challenges that portcos face, and how does TechMD address them?
When we initially start working with portfolio companies, they frequently underinvested in a couple areas. Oftentimes the general infrastructure. So maybe they don't have the fastest networks. They don't have really good, Wi-Fi coverage. Maybe they have a server closet that's not terribly secure, and wiring that's maybe a bit outdated or done poorly. So there's a lot of very tactical things that TechMD can quickly come in and fix and get them ready for their next stage of growth. And then the next piece often is companies just aren't set up for the headcount growth, right? They don't know how to do that, and they don't have the processes and procedures to make that really work. And TechMD can help them do that for sure. And then I think lastly, oftentimes they've got maybe archaic processes for document management and backups and for those kind of areas, and they've never thought about that, right? And TechMD can help harden those environments and get them done the right way, such that if they do get attacked, the attacker can't compromise their credentials and then go off and get the backups. And then I think the last thing that I would say is helping them strategize for, hey, how am I going to handle this when I'm double or triple the size? TechMD can help with all those areas.
Can you share a specific example of how TechMD has helped Portco overcome a significant IT challenge?
We had a portfolio company who was hacked, and specifically it was a phishing attack, and they sat in there for a little while. In their case, they sent out some fake invoices to customers, and it wasn't large dollar amounts, but they got a few customers to pay them instead of paying the company, right? And at current MSP, it was very obvious that they were not up to the challenge of tightening down and securing this. And they were a recent acquisition, so we didn't have experience with MSP. So we quickly brought in TechMD to harden the environment, to consolidate a lot of their Office 365. It turns out they had like 3 different Office 365 subscriptions and different tenants, and they brought it all into one, actually saving them money in the process. And also they tightened up the security enormously. They got MFA consistently rolled out, then came with recommendations for how to improve the networking, the firewall environment, the Wi-Fi environment, because some of that was aging and not really set up with best practices. So they've been working to help do all that as well.
How has partnering with TechMD benefited Align Capital's portcos in terms of cybersecurity and risk management?
Yeah, that's so important these days. The area that we see most of the attacks coming these days are through email, phishing attacks. And TechMD has made a really nice offering for our smaller portfolio companies who don't have the staff to manage this or the technology capability. And they will monitor the Office 365. They'll have a SOC, Security Operations Center, looking at that, and they'll configure it properly for your needs based on your breadth and scope of business and geography scope. And that helps enormously in keeping you at least aware that the phishing attacks are happening, and also hopefully finding them if they are successful when some user does something silly like give away their password. they can usually catch it pretty quickly and nib it in the bud right there.
Can you share a little bit about how Align Capital has benefited from TechMD's expertise in cybersecurity type regulations?
One of the areas that our smaller companies are really challenged with is when they start growing and getting into more heavily compliant, regulatory compliant business opportunities. So examples would be in manufacturing, CMMC is still a big requirement. And a lot of companies are struggling with how do I do this cost effectively? Or I'm starting to do business with the Department of Defense and I gotta have an ITAR compliant process, not for my whole company, but for the part that serves the DoD. And what I've been impressed with is TechMD has people on staff that know those regulations and can help advise and say, hey, this is how you can do it, not only from a policy and procedure perspective, which of course is the first thing you got to do, but then the second thing, how can I cost effectively change my Office 365 environment, as an example, to be ITAR compliant? And what are the options that exist for me? And then how can I segment my user community to be able to do that effectively and be policy compliant without making all of my company follow, ITAR requirements, which is not necessary. So I've been really happy with their ability to bring that kind of capability to bear.
Let's talk about the buy side a little bit. How does TechMD support Align Capital on the buy side?
On the buy side with TechMD, what we ask them to do obviously is quick and efficient integrations. Because the faster we get an add-on acquisition integrated, the faster we can get the value out of whatever reason we bought them for, right? Wasting time on integration is not value at a time. So the faster we can do that, the better. And companies want to be able to get everybody on the same email platform quickly, get everybody on the same collaboration platform, get them all on Teams as an example quickly, and get them be able to share documents easily, get them on the same network so they can VPN in. TechMD can really help in making sure that goes as smoothly and as efficiently and as fast as possible. And that's where we definitely see the value.
Eric, this was a great conversation. I've gotten some really good nuggets out of it. I'm pretty sure whoever will be watching it will get a lot of value out of it as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. I've enjoyed it.